I'm Dr. Vanita Rattan, and this channel is dedicated to skincare for skin of color. So as you know, I'm a doctor, but I'm also a cosmetic formulator specifically for skin of color. Now, the reason I created this channel is because the majority of skincare available is not ideal for skin of color. With us, one bite, one scratch, one burn, and we hyperpigment. We cannot afford any inflammation on our skins. We have to be a lot more careful than Caucasian skin. For that reason, our melanocytes are large and they are easily triggered. So really, that's the purpose of this channel. And because this is not my income stream, this is my love letter to our skin of color global family. I don't accept any sponsorship for any video ever, and I never will, because I just feel like it's really important that we have at least one resource that is evidence-based, that is unbiased. And it means that actually, if I don't like a product, I'm free to tell you I don't like a product without worry about repercussions other than maybe some negative comments in the comment section, which I'm getting used to. But yeah, I think that on the whole, it's important that we are educated and empowered when it comes to our skin, not just for us. It's also for our other halves, for our children, for the future generations. We all need to know what is safe for skin of color. Okay, so it's recently come to my attention that people think that I claim to be a dermatologist. And so I thought the best thing to do is to make a video on it to dispel any myths or rumors or scandals, just because it's all about being honest and transparent. I am not a dermatologist. I am a doctor. I graduated from UCL. I did medicine. It took me 5 years, so it was a very long journey. I also did a BSc in physiology pharmacology. So I had clinical knowledge, but also I understood how to conduct clinical studies. So I was honestly in a very fortunate position. So once I graduated from University College of London, all my friends who were also doctors all went to work in a hospital. And that was supposed to be my path, I thought, until I decided that I was going to give myself 1 year, because I was very fortunate. My parents owned a cosmeceutical laboratory called Pharma Clinics, and I had access to all the ingredients, my own formulator. It was basically for free. I had all these resources that I was able to use. And I was very cocky, I'd say, and overconfident. And I thought I could be the person to create the world's first professional grade pigmentation treatment for skin of color. And I thought, I'm just going to give myself 1 year. I can do this in a year, and then I can go back and I can work in the hospital. I can become GMC registered like all my friends. And it'll be a fantastic research project. However, I was sorely mistaken. It took 1 year in, and I still was so far away from my goal that I had two choices at that point. Do I carry on because I felt like I was doing really great work and groundbreaking work, or do I do what everyone else is doing and what the norm is and what's expected of me? So I remember I went back to my parents, and they were really sweet, honestly, because I was using all their resources. Don't forget, I was not contributing anything. I was just taking as children do. So they said, I think it's you've already done a year. Give yourself another year. It was almost like a sunk cost mentality. Give yourself another year. Hopefully you'll be able to crack it. Another year in, I was closer, but I was still very far away from creating the treatment. The reason being that all the clinical studies, when I first went into the clinic, every single clinical study had been done for Caucasian skin. There were no clinical trials on percentage actives for skin of color. So I actually had to start from scratch. I had to find out, for example, retinol. If I said to you, okay, you want to put retinol into your cream, how would you know what percentage to use that's safe for skin of color? You wouldn't know. The reason is because there's no clinical study done on it. So what I would have to do is I would manufacture a retinol cream just with 1% retinol in it. I would have usually 25 to 30 candidates, skin of color, to see if they reacted. And for me, the baseline was 0% reactions. For me, reactions there should be no reactions for skincare for skin of color, because it meant inflammation, which meant pigmentation, which was the exact opposite of what we needed. So I found that 1% was causing reactions in a certain percentage of the cohort. So then I would create a 0.5% cream and I would do the same thing again. And I did this for every single tyrosinase inhibitor, which took years. Once I had deciphered the perfect non-irritating levels of tyrosinase inhibitors, I then had to learn to combine them. Now, imagine combining ingredients that are inherently unstable at high percentages in an acid form. I mean, that also took a very long time. And once we'd done that, you think, oh, okay, we're so close. You know, we've done the hard work. But actually, at this point, we didn't even know if the treatment was going to work. All we knew was that we created a fantastic tyrosinase inhibiting serum with 30% actives, but we didn't know what the results were going to be. And I just remember the first day that we did our trials, every single person I did a treatment on, I did a prayer for at the same time. It was the least scientific thing I think I'd done in that whole time. But honestly, could you imagine? For me, it was years of my life that I'd invested when all my friends had gone into hospital, got their GymC registration, became general practitioners, majority became GPs. And me, you know, not even knowing if these 5 years are going to amount to anything. Thankfully, honestly, when the results came back and people were saying that they'd had the comments from their parents and their friends and on stubborn pigmentation that had been there for decades, I can't even even now I feel emotional about it. It was the best thing I ever did. It was the best decision I ever made. It was the biggest gamble of my life, but I wouldn't have done it differently. Looking back, I know I was very lucky and it easily could all have failed. But even if I had failed, at least we'd found what the correct percentages were of ingredients for skin of color. And to this day, there are no other trials that have ever been done on ingredients for skincare for skin of color. And I think it's because I was a doctor, because I'd had that clinical experience. And then I also became a cosmetic formulator. I became a bridge between the doctor and the manufacturer. And that is, I think that link is really what we have been missing. And I did this 15 years ago. So we opened up our clinic, which has been running for 8 years. We have a 95% success rate for pigmentation treatment for skin of color, which is one of the hardest things to treat and really is our number one insecurity when it comes to our skincare. It's not like we age badly. We actually age really well. Pigmentation is our issue. It's been our issue from puberty, like that early on. It doesn't happen late, it happens later on as well, but we suffer from this from one mosquito bite, I would say, can take down our skin. So I know I went down a different path to literally all my friends, but I think it was actually the best thing I ever did. So just to clarify, I'm not a dermatologist. A dermatologist would have done the medical training in hospital, and then they would have gone on to do dermatology training. So a dermatologist learns 2,000 to 3,000 different skin conditions. That is not what I did. I went down aesthetics and skin of color percentage actives that are safe for our skin. So I am basically the bridge between the dermatologist and how to create the perfect product to treat that aesthetic issue. I've got so much respect for dermatologists, and I'm always here to teach them and train them when it comes to ingredients, percentage actives, what are the best preservatives, what are the best solvents, how to analyze what percentages are in the products that they're giving to you. And that's something I do train them on, because don't forget, doctors don't get this training. Doctors get zero training on formulations. They are looking at the marketing almost and looking at what the manufacturer is telling them. But as you know, if you've been watching this channel, what the manufacturer says is not always full disclosure. And often what they're saying is different to what you'll see on the ingredients list. So I definitely think that it is changing. I think we've had 8.5 million people watch this channel now, and a large percentage of them are doctors. And so when they accumulate knowledge from here, they go out and they give you better products and better information, and they themselves know what they should be using and what you might want to avoid. So I do think we work together so well as a community to give back to our skin of color global family, our global community. And I have the utmost respect for dermatologists. They, of course, they are phenomenal. And I am not a dermatologist. I am a doctor and a cosmetic formulator for skin of color. So I really hope that is the end of all the scandal and the rumors and the myths and anything else that's out there. And if you see anything, can you just link this video just to make sure that I do not want to misrepresent myself at all. I'm extremely proud of what I've done and what I've achieved, and I hope that you are too, and we are in this together. Thank you very much for watching.